Hey, it's Saul Overman with SaulOvermanSurvival. We've got a new product for us. We want to show briefly here. This is a Swiss rifle cleaning kit. This was developed by the Swiss for their K31 straight pole rifle and the STG 57, STG 94 series in 7.5 Swiss. They're very nice kits, as you could expect from the Swiss. Built like Swiss watches, very well thought out. Tilt it up here and give you a little closer look. They come with a handle, segmented rod, several brushes, a bore brush, another chamber brush, I should say, is that one. Another chamber cleaning tool where the chamber can be cleaned with a patch. 2 grease pots. Large containers for grease. They do have some grease in them that look serviceable. What else we get here? A nylon bristle, bore brush, and a phosphated bronze bore brush, and a very nice inspection mirror, bore and chamber inspection mirror. Like I said, they're built like Swiss watches, very well thought out, very usable kits. The rods, I'm going to show you a close-up of the rods. This is a patch jag, very clever, well-made patch jag that'll hold a patch pushing and pulling. And screw thread for a brush, so this can be used with or without a brush. And all the rod segments are very similar to this first one here. They're very well thought out. The rod itself is much smaller than the bore diameter, while these joints are closer to the bore diameter. So, and they're made of soft brass. So there's no steel that will contact the bore chamber of a rifle. If there was any contact, it'd be borne by this wider part. They all screw together nicely. Handles. A little flange on it, good grip. Even the little mirror I'm impressed with. You know, they could have used a shiny piece of metal, but the Swiss actually fit a very fine, tiny mirror. It's an actual glass mirror. It's very reflective. It actually works very good. You can shave with it. Something about these specific kits as they come in. These have been on the market for a while. I've looked at them in the past, and one of the reasons I haven't gotten them in the past is they come in quite dirty. These have all been cleaned. They're not too bad, but generally, but especially the brushes come in very dirty, caked with 50-year-old dried on grease. They're not really usable the way they come. So what we're going to do with these, and I've already started the process, inspect and clean every kit and clean the brushes, and that's turned out to be a pretty laborious process of cleaning the brushes. The stuff is really caked in there. They require multiple soakings and then manually picking the grease out of there with a dental pick is how we've been doing it. But the results are nice, and they come out looking pretty good. The chamber brushes they're not quite as dirty when they come in as these. They don't get used as much. Another thing we're doing with every kit is inspecting the rods. We found a few bent ones, and if they can't be straightened, then we're not going to include them. We're scavenging and cannibalizing other kits to make good, full, complete kits. Some of them you'll see will have a metal can like this. Other ones have a plastic can that seems just as functional. We've also cleaned all the rods and lubricated the thread ends of them are a little junky, so we've cleaned and lubricated the thread ends to make sure they all thread together well. Here's a completed rod here, so we can focus in on that. Nice completed rod. It's very stiff when it's together and all tightened up, and very straight when all the segments are straight. So we wanted to go ahead and do these in such a way that when the user got one, they would have a usable product that they wouldn't have to clean or mess around with. Another thing I want to mention of these is They're threaded with a European thread. It's not the standard, I think it's 8x32 that is the American standard for brushes. However, there are available adapters that will adapt these to any brush, including shotgun brushes that you'd want to use. These come in at about 0.304 inches diameter on the wide part. So any barrel you wanted to clean that was larger than that, these would work fine. And up and including shotgun barrels are plenty stiff enough for a shotgun barrel. And they can be used as short segments as well for cleaning pistols. So it'd work well for a 9mm, any 32 caliber, 40 caliber. So they can be used in whatever length. You can put a second rod on if you wanted, if you had an especially long pistol barrel or a short rifle barrel. So they're very, very versatile kits, really built to last a lifetime, and that's was the intention of the Swiss with their home army. These would be issued with the rifle and actually, you know, last the lifetime of the soldier and the lifetime of the rifle. And unlike a lot of other military gun cleaning kits, these are actually usable. The U.S. ones that you see, the United States ones that are all steel jointed rods, I wouldn't use those. They're great to have as a collector, you know, collector's item. I have sold them. I wouldn't use them. They'd be very rough on a bore. The only the contact would be with that steel, and that's just too hard to run through the inside of your barrel. And if you look at the condition that the CMP rifles are coming in, you can see in them that use of those steel rods has increased the bore wear on those rifles. So these, you know, with a softer steel or brass contact point, you know, these are really usable. Most segmented rods, I don't use them anymore. I use one-piece rods, but I have been using this, and it works well. It's a good working unit. I've used it on my 357. The brushes are a little loose for 357, but you can get double up a patch and get a really tight-fitted patch in there with that jag. And it's plenty stiff and to give you a good push-pull action on it. When you get them all tightened up, like I said, there's really not like the cheap outers or whatever aluminum rods. You know, they're very stiff and strong. So we're putting these together now, and we're going to put them up this week. And you know, we are offering them as reconditioned kits. Any of them we find with brushes that can't be saved, we're discarding the brushes and including scavenging another brush and including that instead. Like I said, any of the rod sections that we can't straighten, they'll be discarded as well. And we're inspecting the mirrors, cleaning everything, wiping everything down, re-oiling the rods, wiping the case down to make sure it's as clean as it can be, and then choosing out the better of the cases. Since we're cannibalizing kits, we'll try to include the better cases as well, making sure there is some good grease in it, in the pots that's still not caked or, you know, dried out, that's still usable. I think for the kit of these that I'll keep for myself, I'm going to clean out one of these grease pots and then use a small bottle of like Rem oil that'll fit inside of that, so I have a grease and oil, because both of these are grease, and I think it's a good idea to have some oil as well. You really don't want to be wiping down the outside of the metal parts of a gun with grease. It's just too sticky and messy. And some other parts on rifles are better off being lubricated with oil. And like your final swab on the inside of a barrel, you would really be better using an oil instead of grease. So that's the way I would do one personally. That'd be to use one of these containers for oil. A small synthetic oil container would fit in there. The little sample sizes, a couple of them would go in there. They're great little tins too. They make great match tins, or they would make great geocaching tins. I mean, they're really nice. The plastic ones are nice too. Let me get one of those out and I'll show you one of those. These are the plastic ones, so they're really nice too. Like a big match safe. Everything, like I said, it looks like some kind of hard, high quality plastic, like Bakelite material. Everything we've seen on these has just been excellent quality. Another point I want to make: these are free turning patch ends. They turn very smoothly and easily, so they'll follow the rifling. That's a desirable feature. Much better than a stiff one-piece rod that doesn't turn. You want something that will allow the brush to turn with the rifling, so some of the less damaging for one thing, less wear and tear on the rifling, on the lands and the grooves, and having the brushes stay in the grooves as it goes through helps scrub out the low parts of the barrel rifling. So these are very nice kits, and we're going to be, like I said, offering them as reconditioned kits where they're all clean and nice and ready to go. You know, we don't see any disappointments on these, and they are fine. You know, a good antique collectible military piece that you could actually use today with any rifle that it would fit. 7.5 Swiss uses a .306 bullet. 8mm Mauser is 3.18 size bullet. We've used these on 8mm. Even these brushes, they're a slight bit looser, but they still have enough to fill the bore of a 8mm Mauser. Would work fine for 30-06, for 308, 7mm 08 would work fine with these brushes. But like I said, they with the adapter that's easily available. The best price I've seen on the adapters is $7. And with the adapter, you know, you could use it with even a shotgun or you know, specific size bore brush for a particular pistol or whatever. Very nice kits. Roll up real nice and small. They're a little heavy because it's, you know, steel and brass components. I guess this weighs about probably a pound, 2-3 ounces. Very solid. A great bargain if you look at a good cleaning kit. Well, first off, when you go to most department stores, or even more some of the better sporting goods stores, the cleaning kits that they have in kit form, they tend to be pretty junky. Pretty, you know, other than the oil and the patches and the brushes sometimes in them are okay. You know, the rods that they come with are really not too usable. Most segmented rods are not good quality, and these are. You know, it's a good alternative to carrying a one-piece rod for a rifle you really care about. I think that these are going to be much less damaging to the bore. A little bit of lubricant before you pass it through the bore on the brass parts, and, you know, make sure they're clean, no kind of grit or embedded metal on them. And they, you know, even the contact it does make should be, you know, result in the most minimal kind of wear you could get on a barrel. Much less than rubbing a piece of aluminum on it that's dirty. Or you know, a steel rod. I think those are really the worst. Give you a close-up of the joint. All these joints are also separate. They're some of them are a little stiff, but they also separate from the rods on this end. It's threaded on that end too. It's not permanently affixed there. But great kit, and we're going to be putting them up this week. So if you decide you want one, you know, definitely pick one up. I think the supplies on these are good for now, but I don't think they're going to last forever. I think I know they've already been on the market for a couple of years. You know, like everything else, all the good surplus, get it while you can, because you know, the next thing you know, nobody's offering it and it's gone. So this is Saul Overman Survival, and I want to appreciate you all watching, and you have a great day.